speaking of short circuiting, how about the chair? The chair has been off the table. I didn't mean that to be a joke. It turned out to be a little double entendre. The chair has been off the table for many, many years because it was ruled as cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, no matter what way they come about or they invent to take someone's life and vis-a-vis the death penalty, I think it's always going to be ruled as it's cruel and unusual because it's killing somebody. But that's still on the books in, I believe it's 27 states, Mike?
That's correct, 27 states.
So 27 states have the death penalty. Years ago, New York used to have it, and then New York took it off the table. So it's Sing Sing. They used to call the chair at Sing Sing Old Sparky. And that was where they actually did use the electric chair. But it's been, I don't know what year the electric chair was taken off the table, but they have something in Idaho that seems even more barbaric, and that's a firing squad. And in Idaho, a firing squad is perfectly legal to implicate or to give the death penalty to the convicted felon. Mike.
Yeah, Billy, the Supreme Court of the United States has looked at all of these methods of execution: hanging, the firing squad, lethal injection, the electric chair, and they've determined so far that so long as their methods are in place and it's certain that the person will die as quickly as possible, painlessly as possible, then it wouldn't be cruel and unusual. In the case of a firing squad, back in the 1870s, back in 1879, the Supreme Court looked at a case called Wilkerson versus Utah, and it was the first case that the Supreme Court ever looked at that validated a method of execution. And they said killing someone by a firing squad is perfectly constitutional. Now, that was the 1870s, but now you jump to the 1970s, you had Gary Gilmore being shot to death with a firing squad. And the Supreme Court back in the 70s looked at that and it passed constitutional muster. So, people, this is an emotional issue, and people are either for it or against it. And it's really difficult to get somebody in between. But she can make all the arguments she wants, but the firing squad is, if she challenges it, it probably will not be successful.
MS in the chat, does the defense really believe that Bryan Kohberger is innocent? MS, I don't know what they think. However, I know that many, many people that follow this case and follow the Kohberger case, the Idaho murder of the four young students, many people think he's innocent. And I was sort of baffled by that. And I had to answer up to a lot. In fact, when we had Matt Murphy on, that great LA County, Orange County district attorney who's tried, he's 65-0, trying high profile murders. When he said the evidence against Kohberger is overwhelming, you would not believe how he was attacked in the chat. I was like, and people were like attacked not in a nice way, like acting like one of the premier prosecutors in the nation. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I guess not. He was 65-0 as a homicide prosecutor, and he has no idea what he's doing. So you're right. He is. So many people believe that Kohberger is innocent. And for, we could go through the reasons, but people say, oh, it was a party house. There was a drug house. There was a drug deal gone bad. There's all of these shady little reasons that have no evidence that they are true. But people are putting them out there. These conspiracy theories, if you will, Mike.
Yeah, the Matt Murphy, you should take him at his word. He knows what he's talking about. He's done, all of these homicide cases. He's done manslaughter pleas. He's done all of these. He's had several hundred cases, probably from start to finish, that have pled out and things like that. So he knows what he's talking about. And he mentioned DNA. Bryan Kohberger's DNA was found at the scene. They made sure And after they arrested him in Pennsylvania, they took a buccal swab and it matched to like 1/quadrillionth of a chance, a number that doesn't even exist. That's a theoretical number. That's more than the people that live in the entire world. That's how accurate that DNA test was. And so therefore, if you think Bryan Kohberger was framed, then you got to figure that the police knew it was Bryan Kohberger, somehow got his DNA without him knowing about it before the murders. And then when maybe the police murdered the 4 students, put his DNA on the knife sheath and then, matched it later on. It seems like really fanciful, but I guess there are people out there that just don't want to believe that a person could kill 4 innocent young people, 20 to 21, by stabbing them to death within, say, 10 minutes. They just cannot fathom that evil can act that way. And, that's their opinion. But the case will go to trial in about 8.5 months. 9 months, and we'll see what else they have. We haven't heard a lot of information. We haven't seen the crime scene photographs. We haven't seen all the electronic information. So maybe people will feel a little bit better about it when they see all the other information that they have against Kohberger.
Mike, and I don't want to just get on this because we may cover this Tuesday night when we go on. We're going to do a show on the 2-year anniversary of this. And I hate to use the word anniversary because anniversary is usually a happy event, and this is just a 2-year, say, to commemorate when this occurred, 2 years on the November 13th. But there's other evidence vis-a-vis him showing up at the house at 9 o'clock in the morning to see what was going on. I mean, that is a classic response of a serial killer does that. And I'm not saying he's a serial killer, but a killer going back to admire his handiwork as to what occurred. The other thing is his conduct in throwing his garbage in his neighbor's garbage cans, cleaning his car with alcohol and all those things are, Mike, I'll get to use your famous expression, consciousness of guilt.
Thank you.
He's trying to cover it up, and that's consciousness of guilt. Claudia Lenzer-Stoffer, thank you for the 5-pound super sticker.